ultimate aim is to become the global operating system for food and drink brands and manufacturing. Hi, I'm Kate. I'm the CEO of Pesto, and I set the business up with my two co-founders, Sanjay, who's our COO, and Amish, who's our CTO, and we met during an Antler residency program last year. Pesto is the software that I wish I'd had when I was running my previous business. And we founded Pesto because we could see there was a real need for smart, modern software to support SMEs in the food industry, producing fantastic quality products that they sell through shops, through retailers and online. And we really identified this as an area that these customers were being underserved. And we knew that ourselves because both Sanjay and myself had previously run food businesses. Once you've worked in food and drink, you know that these are very fast-moving channels that you're selling into, where retailers have very high demands. And so as a supplier, you have to perform very efficiently. And for challenger brands, for emerging SMEs in this industry, it can be really important to scale your business as you're scaling that growth with your distribution and bringing in more customers. So there's not a lot of technology that can support businesses in this industry doing that. The technology that is there is legacy. It's been around for 20 years and it wasn't designed for the needs of fast-moving SME businesses. I think if you look back, even maybe 5-10 years ago, you would have walked into a supermarket and the shelves would have been entirely dominated by own label or very big FMCG brands. And it's only really in the last 5 to 10 years that we've seen this insurgence of challenge brands, of people coming in, smaller businesses, creating fantastic products that really solve a problem for a shopper, or that take a known product or category and flip it on its head, maybe using different ingredients, making the product healthier or plant-based or something like that. And so the idea that we've got these growing, fast-growing, scaling businesses producing food that shows up in our supermarkets, that's relatively new. And I think as a result, the technology that has been around to service the food manufacturing and brands industry has always been designed for those larger enterprise customers. And that's not the technology that a challenger brand needs. It can be really hard for challenger brands to keep track of their cost of goods. And ultimately, if you don't know how much your ingredients are costing you, you don't know how profitable your products are. And that is particularly driven by volatility in COGS, in cost of goods sold. And that happens because climate change is increasingly disrupting agricultural production, and meaning that those ingredients are increasing in price or experiencing volatility. So what we do with Pesto is help challenge brands keep track of their cost of goods, help them understand where the impacts might be hitting their product profit margins, and to use AI to give them actionable insights as to when they might need to relook at their pricing or relook at negotiating with a supplier for a particular ingredient. The food system is absolutely global. And so our ultimate aim is to become the global operating system for food and drink brands and manufacturing. We're starting with the UK and Europe, where there are 750,000 food and drink manufacturers and brands. And that's a target addressable market of over £4 billion. Unlike legacy systems, Pesto is modular. It's continuously learning from operational data using AI, and it's designed for the needs and constraints of challenger brands and SME producers. The first set of tools that we've built in Pesto have automated the order management process. So what that looks like is one of our customers will receive purchase orders on a daily basis from their customers. And Pesto uses AI to read that purchase order and pull all the details into the system, takes away the need for any manual order entry. And then once the PO is in Pesto, people can then review the details. They can add the relevant batch codes, use by dates for products. They can generate the documentation, maybe the delivery note that needs to go out with that order, or an instruction for a 3PL partner. And then Pesto will automatically generate the invoice into their accounting software which reduces about 18 hours of work a week by 75%, and means that small teams can get back to the really value add parts of their business, like product development and sales. Our biggest challenge so far in building Pesto is keeping up the pace of work and feeling like we're always not quite going fast enough. I think that comes from the fact that we know our customers very well. We know what problem we're solving for them and we know what we need to do, but we've got a small team and a fixed number of hours in the day in which to understand the real requirements in detail and to build those products and to get them working in a way that will delight our customers. And so it's that constant pressure to be continuing to develop, to be making sure that we're paying attention to what our customers are telling us and ultimately building something that's going to add a lot of value to their business. I think one key thing that we were able to do with very early conversations with customers is to show them in a non-scalable way how we could add value based on the skills of our team. So Sanjay and myself both have a background in the food industry, but Sanjay has also spent the last 4 years working at Bain as a management consultant. And so he's got a great skill set when it comes to doing commercial analysis for people's businesses. And if you're an FMCG giant, you would pay a consultancy like Bain to do that kind of analysis for you. But if you're a challenger startup brand, you don't have access to those kinds of commercial skills. So being able to work with some of our early customers, doing cost of goods analysis for them in a very non-scalable way, but showing that we could help save them money on their ingredient purchasing and really giving that impression that we understood their businesses, we understood the challenges they were facing, gave us the ability to build those early relationships and to start to gain early traction. So far, we haven't explicitly pivoted in the business, but we started off with a really big vision for creating an operating system for food and drink that would become the central data platform to help challenger brands run their businesses and supply chains more effectively and sustainably. And that's a very big vision to take on. We want to have a systemic impact in our industry. What we had to do first wasn't pivot, but we had to find the first thing that we were going to build that would be solving a real hair on fire problem for our customers that they would be willing to pay for us to solve. And so it's not a pivot, but we had to focus our attention on one small thing after having this very big vision that we'll continue with. The food and drink industry is amazing, but there's no question that SME challenger brands are under increasing pressure from all sides. There's increasing costs along the supply chain, ingredient pricing becoming more volatile, ingredients becoming more expensive, driven by climate change and by political unrest. On the production side, labor costs continue to increase. And on the demand side, both retailers and consumers are price sensitive. We have not yet moved away from a cost of living crisis. There is still inflation in food prices. And people are also demanding healthier products. They want to understand more about where their food has come from and the impact that the production of that food has had. So these are all big challenges that businesses have to lean into at the same time as producing fantastic quality, delicious tasting food at the right price. The past 6 months have been full of milestones for us at Pesto. We've made our first hires into the team, and we have launched our first paid product, which is our order management automation tool, and had a brilliant experience exhibiting at a conference where we gave people the chance to come and actually make pesto at a stall with us whilst we talked to them about order management automation. And that was an amazing way of getting the business out there, of talking to customers, understanding their challenges, and bring in lots of really good sales leads. I think the biggest risk for our growth, like for many other businesses at this time, is around distribution. You know, there are so many interesting ways in which technology is at a very fast pace developing now. That means that I don't think software is a big enough moat for businesses. And so it's all going to come down to the relationship that you have with your customers, the reputation you have as experts in your field, And that's the area in which we have to prove that Pesto is the best set of tools available for the food industry. What the food system needs to be is a place where we measure and value the triple bottom line, not just the unit economics and the profit margin of a product and a business, but really help food businesses understand the value that they're creating from an environmental and social perspective, as well as from a financial perspective. That's particularly important in food because if you think about the food products that we buy and eat all the time, they've got a direct environmental impact through the ingredients that are produced through agriculture. And agriculture is one of the hardest sectors to decarbonize and one of the most affected by climate change. And on the social side, we put food products into our bodies, and if those products are not nutritional or healthy or eaten in the right context, then that can have a direct impact on human health. So there's this real opportunity to make sure that we're building systems and technology to deliver that food system of the future.